Here are components of listening comprehension. The first is syntax. Syntax is the arrangement of words and phrases to create well-formed sentences in a language. The second one is grammar. The whole system and structure of a language or of languages in general, usually taken as consisting of syntax and morphology. The third is pragmatics or social language. It's dealing with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical consideration. Usually, it use of language in social context. The fourth is semantics. It is the branch of linguistics and logic concerned with meaning. And the next is phonology. Phonology is the usage of sounds to encode the meaning of language. And the next is auditory attention. It is ability to focus on relevant acoustic signals, particularly speech or linguistic stimuli, and sustain that attention for an age-appropriate amount of time. And the last is memory. Memory means students should be able to remember what they listen in order to answer the question correctly. How to test listening comprehension? Here we have 10 kinds of listening tests. The first is fill in the blank.
In this test, you will listen to a short paragraph. There are several blanks in the paragraph. When you listen to the paragraph, put the correct order of given words to fill the blanks in the paragraph. Here is the example of fill in the blank test.
The second one is short conversation.
In this test, the student will hear a short conversation between two people. Then, the student must answer the question based on that conversation correctly.
The third one is long conversation.
In a long conversation test, the student will hear a long conversation and they must be able to answer 2 up to 3 questions based on that conversation.
Number 4 is lecture in English.
Lecture in English is similar with a long conversation test, but in this test, native speaker is explaining a material like in a classroom, whereas in a long conversation, speakers will talk about their daily activities.
Number 5 is filling gap.
This English listening comprehension test will test your ability to understand conversation in English and to fill the gap. You will hear some conversation between two people, and then you will be asked to answer questions about the speaker say in each conversation.
Number 6 is map labeling.
For map labeling test, the student will hear some instruction about certain place, and they should give a label based on that instruction. Here is the example of map labeling. In this example, the student will hear the librarian of a new town library talking to a group of people who are visiting the library.
The next one is short answer.
In this listening task type, students are required to write short answer using information from what they just heard. A word limit is something given, for example, no more than 3 words and or numbers. Short answer question focus on specific information. The student should always accurately work out what the topic of the question in order to give the correct answer.
The next one is sentence completion.
Sentence completion is one of many tasks that students will run into during their listening test. Some consider this as one of the most difficult tasks in the listening test. Sentence completion requires students to know general information and specific information about the topic or event.
Number 9 is English pronunciation.
In this listening section, we'll test your English pronunciation skills. You will hear a person reading 4 words. Then choose the word that has the underlined part pronounced differently from the rest.
And the last one is feminine sentence.
It will test the student's ability to find the same meaning sentence. The student will hear a person reading a sentence. Then the student selects a sentence that is similar in meaning to the read sentence. For scoring, each question will get 1 point, or it depends on the number of questions. If the number of questions is 50, it will be multiplied by 2, so it will be 100.